Hello YouTube, this is Victor and welcome back to my channel. I'm a flight attendant. Every week I share with you some stories, some tips, some tricks on how to travel in better conditions. Today we're going to talk about business class. You can always see those beautiful seats when you walk around the cabin and you say one day I'll be there. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit what you can expect if you buy a business class ticket. Welcome aboard. Again, if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe. I like to have more followers because it inspires me and I can get your stories so I can make better and better videos every week. This video will be quite generic because every airline got their own product, a business class product. They try to be a little bit different and have their own personality. So if you want to know exactly what you can expect for your upcoming flight, feel free to refer to the website of your airline. There will be lots of photos and a list of amenities available if you fly the business class product. But today I'm going to talk about in general what's happening. So it starts at the airport. When you buy the business class ticket, most of the time you'll have baggage included and quite often 2 pieces of luggage. So sometimes it could be worthwhile to see, okay, you're buying an economy ticket that is cheap, but then you need to add extra fees for 2 bags. This total might not be that far from the basic business class ticket. So sometimes it could be worth it to pay just a small extra expense to get more comfort and get your bags included. When you arrive at the airport, you've got a dedicated check-in area for premium cabins, usually for first, business class and premium economy. So you don't have to do the long lineup, and sometimes also they give you an express pass to go through security. And if you fly business class and your airline's got a lounge in the airport, you will have access to the airport lounge where you can relax, drink, eat, have a nap, use internet, have less people around you. And in some lounges also you get extra amenities like a hairdresser, massage service, valet, concierge, and a lot of things like that. So it's quite worthwhile. Next week's video will be around lounges. I'll explain what you can expect when you go in the lounge. Then it's time to board. You're the first one to board usually. We just get on board with people who have disability, who need assistance, and families, and right after business class passenger will be there. It's nice because you don't have to go through the whole big rush of everybody trying to get on board. You don't have really to worry about getting space in your overhead bin because you're sharing it with maybe another passenger or maybe no one else. So usually space is not a big issue, where in economy people are fighting for space in overhead lockers. So now the seat, that's always a big feature. That's what you see on all the marketing from the airlines. Seats will be quite different depending on the kind of aircraft you have, and again, depending on the airline. In general, when you fly a single aisle plane, which will be either the Boeing 737 family or for Airbus the 320 family, 319, 20 and 21, quite often it will be a wider seat. So instead of having 3 on each side of the aisle, you will have 2. It'll be bigger, it'll have a better recline, more leg room, and quite often a bigger screen. In some cases, some airlines will keep the 3 seats, but they'll have a mechanism to move the armrest in the middle closer. That means it'll give you a little bit more room. You will not share your armrest with anyone. There will be a little space in between the 2 armrests in the middle. So they don't have to change the equipment, and then it can give flexibility for them to decide where the business class is starting in this cabin. That's most of the time for either domestic or intra-Europe flights. But some airlines will propose you a full flat bed if you fly in the US, and JetBlue's got that for a transcontinental flight between east and west or west and east of the US. So it's quite comfortable because they know many passengers will use it as an overnight flight, what we call a red eye, and they will be able to sleep during the night. But don't expect that too often on the single aisle plane. Now if you fly on a twin aisle plane, those bigger planes, quite often you will find a proper seat that becomes a bed. So it's quite wide. You will get 2 to 3 windows just for yourself. There's 2 schools. I see passengers who dislike what we have on board. So some airlines will have 2 seats next to each other, and even though they recline and they will come a full bed, but they're next to each other. So it's great if you're a couple. However, if during the night one of them, the person in the window wants to go to the toilet, they need to climb over the other passenger. If you're a couple, usually that's fine, but if you're next to a stranger, it's not the best thing. Where I fly, we've got herringbones. That means everybody's got their own aisle access, but it's not as convenient if you want to speak with your neighbor because you're all a little bit side by side but not directly next to each other. So some of those beds will have amazing features like a massage service, a lumbar, posture. You can decide which position you want. You will have some position to read, to watch TV, to work, or to sleep, or just to relax. So they're quite amazing products now. The seats they're developing cost a fortune, but they are fantastic products. You have a bigger screen most of the time. Like I just flew Air Canada a few days ago. It is 14.5-hour flight. My screen was quite huge, and because I had my own pod, I was not that far from my screen, so it's like I'm in a movie theater. It's really, really big. It's quite amazing, and it's all touchscreen. Extra bonus, you will not share any power outlet or USB port, it's just for you. The ratio passenger to crew is also lower. That means there will be like one flight attendant maybe for 10 or 15 passengers, sometimes 20, where in economy it will be more one around like 40 to 50 passengers. So the level of interaction is quite different too. Ratio passengers versus toilets also is lower. You will share the toilets with maybe 10 other passengers or 15, where in economy usually it's 1 per 50 or 70 passengers. So it's quite a different level of product and cleanliness you can expect. Another big important thing is food. So that's the menu I had a few days ago. That was Air Canada, and then in economy usually they'll give you sometimes a choice for a hot meal, but everybody eats at the same time. Over there they give you a nice menu with lots of pages. So the first one will be the chef, and then the sommelier, the wine specialist, Veronique Ribest, will explain which wine I can have, and then I've got my whole menu. So I had one entree, but I've got 4 main choices, and they had enough pretty much for everyone. I had a cheese platter and I have 3 choices of dessert. Plus there were also flight bites I can have at any time during the flight. That's good because they also try something. My flight was leaving around 11 p.m. and I had the opportunity to sleep right after takeoff and just tell them before takeoff what I would like them to put aside for me. And I woke up probably 6 hours later. I was a little bit hungry halfway through the flight. They delivered my dinner at this time. They just had to heat it up, and then 20 minutes later my dinner was served. So you've got the flexibility in business class that you don't have in economy. Your wine list is quite impressive. A lot of champagne and different wines, where in economy you'll have usually 1 or 2 kinds of red wine or white wine, and then 1 kind of sparkling wine, and then the rest will be just normal drinks. So quite a nice choice, and then you can have more also because you got more interaction with the crew, so it's easier if you want to get something to drink. On arrival, you will be the first one to disembark the aircraft. Some airline and some airport will be able to provide an express pass for customs, so you go a bit faster through customs. Your bags will have a priority tag, so you will be the first bag on the carousel, and then that means you can leave the airport quite early. So now, what's important to consider? Do you need business class? Well, it all depends if you plan to do stuff on the day you arrive. If you are planning to work or visit stuff and you have a limited time in this country you are visiting, yeah, it could be worthwhile because you will actually have a very good rest on board. And then once you get there, you'll be able to start your day quite fresh. Where if you are in economy, your sleep is not as good as on a full flat bed. You're a little bit more dehydrated just because you'll have a flight attendant all the time coming in the cabin with drinks. So you'll have to go to the galley or press the call bell. Usually you don't want to do that 10 times during the flight. So you don't drink as much in economy as you do in business, even though you could if you want. So that's why I always say if you've got plans on the day you arrive, it could be really worth it. Also keep in mind the baggage and extra fees. At the end, all those extra fees in economy that are added will be included in your original ticket in business class. So it's a great product. If you flew business class, feel free to put it in a comment below and explain if you were very happy or disappointed or any story time you may have. If you like this video, you can also put a thumb up. You can also subscribe. Press the small button right here. Next week, I'll do a video and I'll talk about the lounges, what you can expect when you go into those airport lounges. And on that note, have a very good week. Bye. Oh,